Let's make it a good day.
Coming up today, I always say it, there is nothing like live television. And last night, Dancing with the Stars was, very live.
This is the craziness of live TV.
Complete with a big old blunder. Plus, The Price is Right is coming back with new shows, but how will they do it? Then meet the Instagram and podcast star who's inspiring people all over the world to live their dream and take on life's adventures.
It's my mom, Sid. Hi, Mom.
And Kendall and her mom are back with another edition of their wildly popular book club. What are they reading this month? Here we go.
Let's make it a good day. We do it our own way. Let's make it a good day. Oh, no matter what they say. Oh, yeah.
Good morning, everybody. We are live from our studios in the Twin Cities. Welcome to the Jason Show. I'm Jace. Thank you so much for making the two of us goofballs a part of your morning. Hello. Please say hello to my fellow goofball, the lovely and talented, my sister from another mister. It's Kendall, everybody.
Hi.
Good morning, Kendall.
Good morning, Jason.
How you doing?
Good, except for this morning at like 5:37 during my traffic hit, I said, it's a Friday commute, and it's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday. That's okay.
I definitely was like, yeah, happy Friday. And then I looked at Dawn Stevens and I said, when we went to commercial, and she just burst out laughing. I said, it's Tuesday.
Well, we're just wishing it was Friday, aren't we?
I know.
Aren't we already? I am already wishing it's Friday.
I know.
I want it to be Friday already. Are you with me? Are you having?
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
It's one of those days where you think to yourself, should I have gotten out of bed? Should I have crawled out of my waterbed? I don't really have a waterbed anymore, but should I
was going to say, how exciting.
I had a waterbed when I was a teenager. Did you know
Really?
that? Yeah, I had a waterbed when I was a teenager.
Was it hard to sleep in?
Yes, Kendall, it was one of the worst things to come out of the 70s. That and shag carpeting. And yeah, shag carpeting. But you couldn't get comfortable, and then it would leak. And then it would leak.
Like it actually popped.
Well, yeah. I mean, sometimes you would get a little hole, and then you're trying to, and never try to, kissy face with somebody in a waterbed.
Ooh.
I made that mistake, and
Ow.
it was horrible. I was listening to, I tried to be romantic, and it was with one of my first girlfriends, Bernice, and, we were listening to more Dirty Dancing. I had that soundtrack on, and you try to kiss, and she's going down in the waves and you're going up and you're trying to catch each other.
And you have like a tooth smash?
Yeah, you have to wait until tide comes in. It's like, I'll be there in a minute, honey. I'll be there in a minute.
Please.
Yeah. I want to say thank you. Today's been a day of really good emails and really bad emails. But I got a really good email. I want to say well, I don't want to go through Twitter. But there was a woman overnight that let me know about something that I just want to say thank you. If you watch the show, you know I'm weird, and I watch my favorite show is 40-some years old, and that's Dallas. And then I also love Knots Landing. I used to watch it with my mom. And Knots Landing is a show that's never on streaming. It's never been available on streaming. And it lasted for 14 years and 344 episodes on CBS. You would think it would be on streaming somewhere.
Right.
Well, this viewer of the Jason Show knows how much I love Knots Landing. She found a secret YouTube channel. A secret YouTube channel where all of the episodes, every season, all 344 episodes are found. Now, right now you're thinking, Jason, can you tell me what that is? I can't. Because here's the deal. If I say it on the air, I don't want them to be shut down. I want to enjoy this. And a word to Colin, you better go to a hotel or something for the next week, because all I'm going to be doing is watching Knots Landing for the next week or 2 weeks.
On the good old YouTube.
On the good old YouTube. Yeah, if you send me a direct message on my Twitters, I'll send you the link to it. But I don't want to get them in trouble. I don't want the Knots Landing people.
Why are you saying it out loud then?
Because I want to say thank you, because I've been waiting for this for years. It's one of the few, every show's available except this one. It's one of the few shows you can't find anywhere, but it's a secret. They've hidden it in a YouTube account. And I found it this morning. I'm brushing my teeth, and I heard that glorious theme song. Oh, it made my day. I'm like, this is going to be a good day. And then I got on the radio show. And then it just, but I'm hoping it's going to turn around right here. It is going to turn around because you're with me and we're going to get started. Let's do the hot dish, everybody. Here we go. We have good stuff today. First up, another week of Dancing with the Stars is in the books. And before we get to the results and the shocking elimination, here's our FCC-mandated spoiler alert. Thank you. All bases covered. The lawyers are happy.
Yep.
It was a comeback week for our favorite, our buddy Alan Burston and his partner Sky. But they have some stiff competition. Our buddy Rob King, the best editor in the world, put together some of the best dances for you. Look at this.
We don't know which way to go. Hey, 'cause we're ordinary people. Maybe we should take it slow. Take it slow.
He gets that come get me look in her eyes. It kinda scares me the way that she drives me wild. Que viva la vida, que siga la fiesta, las manos en la cintura, que así es que va esta. Un paso adelante, un paso atrás, cinturita, así es como va. Vamos allá, ponle más. Inesperado. Un paso adelante, un paso atrás, cinturita.
I love you, Justina Mercado. So those are some of the best. That's Alan and Sky with the Foxtrot, Bachelorette Caitlin doing the Viennese Waltz, and my girl, Justina Mercado, make sure you guys watch one day at a time, doing the salsa. Alan and Sky earned the highest score of the night, as they should. But Justina, again, top left there of your screen, I love her. Have you ever watched 6 Feet Under?
I haven't, but she's on the show Queen of the South that I watch, and she's really good in that.
Fabulous. Yeah, as my old boss, Carol Ruppel, she would never say fabulous. She would go, Jason, that was fabulous. That was a fabulous show. But anyway, I love her. Watch 6 Feet Under. She's wonderful. Yeah. But it was the elimination that caused the drama of the night and had some folks wishing that former host Tom Bergeron was still there. Look at this.
The next safe couple is Monica and Val. Which means Anne and Keo and Vernon and Peta are at the bottom 2. There's actually been an error. I'm looking right now, and we have 3 couples. So we need to clarify this for 1 second. The bottom 2 couples are Anne and Keo and Monica and Val. Please come back. Please have Monica come back. There's been an error in our control room, but we're making it happen. This is live TV, right? This is the craziness of live TV.
Okay, do you follow that? That was a big old mess. Cheer coach Monica and Anne Heche were really in the bottom 2. Anne got the boot, yeah, whatever. But did you notice in the beginning, Tyra said that coach, what's her face, Monica. Was safe. She wasn't safe.
Yeah.
She was in the bottom 2. And this is what I loved. Tyra threw the control room right under the bus, girl. There was a Greyhound, and Tyra was like, ain't my fault. I'm blaming it on director Leo. That's right. So the next time that something wackadoodle happens on this show, not going to be my fault.
Nope.
Not going to be her fault.
Nope.
It's Emmy-nominated director Leo's fault. That's right. Right? Seems totally fair to me. I'm just joking. Just right now, Leo's in there polishing his 2 Emmys. He's fine. Don't feel sorry for Leo.
I had bad she.
I know, that is a little embarrassing. Look, you know I don't love Tyra in this format.
I know.
It would be really easy for me to sit up and blame Tyra, but I do have some compassion as someone, we do live TV. Stuff happens. People say stuff in your ear. I'm not blaming Ted. I'm not saying that. But there is confusion. Sometimes there's technical things. It could have been the control room. So as much as I would like to blame Tyra, she was calm. She handled it pretty good.
Right.
So
And
being fair.
And I think on this show, you obviously can't see it, which I hope most of the time. But I know I've worked for the Minnesota Wild, a couple games where there's something in this ear and there's someone over here saying something else, and I'm on the video board like, we'll be right back. Oh, we don't have commercials. We're live at a game. I mean, it happens.
The closest thing here, and I want to see Ted's face laughing, is when something does go wrong, executive producer Jeff does this. no, no, no. And he's always right. See, I'm looking at you right here in the camera. Jeff is right there. So if you ever see me looking right over here like this, it's because Jeff is yelling at me. Yeah, right there. There he is. Look at that handsome, look at that handsome man right there. Next in the dish, we're 1 week away from the most anticipated season of The Bachelorette ever. And ABC just released another dramatic teaser. Look at this.
Her Bachelorette journey began like no other.
Quarantine day 823.
Now Claire
I have been waiting way too long for these kisses.
is cleared to find love.
I can see her being my wife.
And that's not all she'll find.
You think all these guys here are lying to me?
It's just scary.
How about the 15 of us walk out?
Even if you think you know what happened,
This is historic.
you're not that clairvoyant. The Bachelorette premieres Tuesday, October 13th on ABC.
Here's my declarative statement. I will never watch that trash.
How dare you, Claire,
I know.
you.
Well, why should I? We have Ted. That's what we pay Ted for.
That's true.
Why are we going to watch it? Let him watch it.
I watch it.
I know you do too. So, but no, I love these promos. The best job in TV, one of them, other than this job, is being the promo producer for The Bachelorette. You just go, you Google dramatic words, and you insert. That's all you do. The next season starts Tuesday. Unclear how many episodes Claire sticks around for before falling in love, because remember, she's out. Producers then allegedly bring in a backup. Okay, yeah, come on, you can come in, yeah. So, Tayshia?
Tasha.
Tayshia, who I love. They should have just picked her to begin with.
Right. So, okay, this is what Reality Steve says, and I'm not giving anything away, don't worry, but he says that according to him and people that he's talked to, producers had this in mind the whole time because they thought it's going to be really boring. It's quarantine season. You know, we won't go anywhere. And so they were like, oh, we got to make this interesting. Let's talk her into falling in love and then bring someone else in.
Halfway during the season. For instance, halfway during this show, I'm going to leave and Steve Patterson's going to fill in. Thank you. Oh, you don't roll the fake applause for that. We'll be right back, everybody. More to come. Stay right there. I'm in the kitchen grabbing some more hot dish. Coming up next, Dorinda opens up to Bethenny on her new podcast about the real reason she left The Real Housewives.
I was ready to go back. I was excited about going back.
Plus, is Bethenny's podcast worth a listen? Then, looking for some adventure? Well, meet the guy inspiring folks to live their dream and walk on the wild side.
She's my favorite library lady, but don't call her a librarian. It's my mom, Sid.
And move over, Oprah. Kendall has her own book club with her mom. What are they reading this month? You're going to find out when we come back.
Seth, we've been asking our guests if we do a late show and tell, where we ask you if you would share something with us from home that we may otherwise never get to see. Do you have anything you'd like to share this evening?
Right. I didn't have to dig too far. This is really embarrassing. But here, hang on one sec. Let me grab this. Hi, James.
Oh, wow.
Hello, James Corden. I'm very happy to be here on the Late Show. Anyway, thanks for having me.
Oh, look at that.
That's fun.
I cannot tell you how much that brightened my day.
It's a Ernie.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's an Ernie. He has a real Ernie. Seth MacFarlane. I'm with James Corden playing the Late Show and Tell. We're going to do another show and tell. I do not want to oversell this, but I am very excited about my show. When are we doing it, Jeff? Friday. Get ready. Hold on to your wigs and keys. Friday. Because mine, and I got to credit Colin, I had it in my hand. He goes, oh, you have to bring that in because there's a great story behind it. Huh. So, and Jeff and Ted are bragging about theirs.
I know, which makes me feel very small inside.
Well, you got to, the pressure's on there.
I know.
Yeah, the pressure's on.
Nervous.
Next on the dish, the show that you don't watch is going back into production. We didn't even want to bring you this story, but we have to. The Price is Right has made significant changes to its set to adapt to the pandemic. Among the changes, there's going to be no live audience. Here, take a look at this, everybody. Come to the TV. The show won't even have a virtual audience because it would be impossible to ensure they wouldn't be looking up prices. Contestants will be spread out, you can see that, 6 feet apart on the stage, and all 77 games will be back with social distancing. Okay, now Leo, can we go back to the picture full? I want to point out something to the audience. See the back there? That is normally where the audience sits, but they literally just capped the set. You know what I mean by that? So Drew is, you know where the big flower thing is right there?
Yeah.
That's really the main set area, but they just continued the floor and put a floor over where the audience chairs used to be. It's kind of like they capped highways in downtown Chicago many years ago. The same thing. But the bigger story here is, who knew The Price is Right had 77 games? That's a lot.
So true.
The check game, Lucky 7, the golf game, that ridiculous cashier game, the grocery store game. Well, the check game, I think, is the most confusing. I have never understood that game.
I like the one with the man who goes up the mountain.
Hootie, hootie, hootie. That's the cliffhanger.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, with the lederhosen.
Yeah.
And he falls, which is a little morbid if you think about it. But yeah, that's my favorite. I love the golf game, and I love the one where they run around and they try to put the price tags, and then they go back to the big thing and they pull down the lever, and it's like, you only have 2 wrong, Becky, go! And then they have to run and switch, and then Becky comes back and they pull it again, and she only has 1 right, and then she's like, oh my gosh, I'm never gonna win this bike. And then she does it again. It's my favorite.
For someone who doesn't want people to watch that show, you just are.
Well, no, I want people.
excited.
Look, I know you're good. I know you like The Price is Right. Just watch us live and tape that.
You do, and you do like that show.
I
Did
do.
you hear that show?
I grew up on it. I mean, look, everybody who didn't watch The Price is Right.
I know, Bob Barker. With
I
his
know.
big mic.
Next in the dish, Dorinda is opening up about her exit from the Real Housewives of New York City. She was on Bethenny Frankel's new podcast called Just Be, and E got a little clip of it, and we'll talk about it on the side. Listen to this.
It has been said that, I probably should have taken a year off like you did, you decided to do. And I'll be honest with you, I felt very, very scared going into the season because not only was my life very intense with all the things that, the house, my father, broken rib, breaking up with John, but also
she broke up with her boyfriend, her
leaving-
father got sick, and her house flooded because everyone might not have seen. Okay.
And then I broke my rib. Listen, truthfully is this. I didn't talk because I didn't want to talk. I was ready to go back. I was excited about going back. I was planning on going back, and I thought I would have a great year. I wasn't given that option. So do with that as you want.
That's a great way to say it. Your option was not exercised.
And it wasn't. Bravo didn't invite her back. Andy Cohen called her exit a pause, and he said he wants Dorinda back. It was a great conversation. I love the way Dorinda handled it. I think she will be back, but she admitted that she's happier. I mean, her real friends called her and said, finally, we get you back. Because Bethenny made a good point. She goes, when you're on this show, nothing is real. Birthday parties you have are lit, with extra lights, and nothing is real. Now, let me talk about Bethenny's podcast right there. I had the pleasure of interviewing Bethenny on the radio show about an hour ago. I love this podcast. And look, and you know me, if I really did, I like Bethenny, but if I didn't like it, I wouldn't recommend it. She talks, she's a great businesswoman. You may not like her personality, you may be a fan, but she talks to great people in business like Mark Cuban. She talked to Paris Hilton, who arguably, has a great empire. And one of the lessons that she said that we discussed on the radio show that stopped me in my tracks is she talked about buckets. She goes, filling your buckets. And she goes, you can't have 8 buckets. It's like going to the racetrack. This was the analogy that I went. She's absolutely right. She says, you can't go to the racetrack and bet $5 on like 7 horses because you're not going to win that much. You're going to win maybe $30. You gotta put your money and your attention on a horse that you think is going to go all the way. Meaning, don't spread yourself too thin and fill the buckets that will be a success. Don't do 7 things okay. Do 3 things really well. That really hit me like a brick.
So I thought it would just be all about the Real Housewives.
No,
but
it's nothing. No, not at all about the Housewives.
Huh.
Dorinda was just a guest on this week's episode.
Okay.
But no, it was, and I love those. I love to learn about business and people that are good entrepreneurs. Mark Cuban's one of them. Full of great lessons. Just Be with Bethenny Frankel. Next in the dish, Mariah Carey is telling all, not in a podcast, but in her new book. The Meaning of Mariah Carey. It's out, and Mariah is just letting everything. I feel like we've been talking about this book since God was a toddler. She talks about her whole life in the book, but one person not in the pages is her ex-fiance, James Packer. She told The Guardian the two did not have a physical relationship, and went on to say, if it was a relationship, darling, that mattered, it's in the book. If not, it didn't occur. So, I guess it didn't occur. They were not, bottom line, they were not making out on a waterbed.
Then why were they engaged?
I don't know. I mean, maybe money, but he didn't need it and she didn't need it.
I don't get it.
Yeah, because she doesn't need it. By that point, she was a bazillionaire. He's a gazillion bazillionaire. So.
Was it just for like
publicity?
Emotional support? Oh.
Or maybe.
Maybe like just like brotherly, sisterly love. But again, then why do you get engaged? I have so
brotherly, sisterly love. What is this? Deliverance? What do we? No, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. Well, this went to a weird place. Moving on. Next in the dish. Thanks, Kendall.
You're welcome.
It's Leo's fault. I'm blaming Leo.
Leo, he told me to say that.
Or Tyra Banks. If I wasn't over before, it's definitely over now. Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers and Danica Patrick broke up this summer. We knew that, right? You brought us the story.
Mm-hmm.
He threw shade at her a couple weeks ago, saying he decided to surround himself with people he really enjoyed. Well, if that didn't put a nail in the old coffin, Danica dropped some shade of her own this weekend. This is her rooting on the Packers' rivals, the Bears. She grew up a Bears fan, gave up that habit for love, but now she's back with the Bears. It doesn't seem to bother Aaron. He's having one of the best seasons of his career. And don't you dare blame Danica for that. Yes.
Or we will have some words.
Or, well, let me rephrase that. Kendall will have some words for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, well, good. Good for both of them, you know?
Right. Move on.
Move on.
I think maybe that was, I don't know how her brain works. That might have just been her way of being like, are we done now?
Well, and let's be clear. She was never really a Packers fan.
No.
If you're a Bears fan, I mean, you're a Bears fan. You're not really, you're quietly rooting.
You were going to no if you're a Da Bears fan.
Yeah, I don't even know what you just said.
I shut it all down.
Leo! Now, seriously, what is Leo doing? Leo, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
What is going on in that control room?
My graphics machine died.
Sure.
Well, fix it! Still ahead. It's fun to yell at an Emmy-nominated director. Still ahead, everybody. Kendall and her mom. Kendall's not sharing her mom. Her and her mom are sharing their latest book recommendations. But next, he's adventurous. He's great. And he wants to get people to push their own limits. Podcaster Marshall Moser will join us when we come back. Stay with us, everybody. Fix it, Leo. Welcome back, everybody. Our next guest is all about adventure and pushing the limits. His podcast, Inside the Adventure, features people literally living out their dreams. Please welcome to the show, Marshall Moser. Hi, Marshall.
Hey, Jason. How you doing?
Okay, well, first question. I don't think we've ever had a guest with a backdrop like that in our show's 6-year history. Where are you?
Yeah, it's funny. A lot of times I'll lead Zoom meetings from places like this. And people will say, how do I get that automated Zoom background? That's amazing. And I'll be like, well, it's actually real. So I'm on top of Bell Mountain here in Hiawassee, Georgia. I live in Atlanta, Georgia, and I love paragliding. And paragliding is a sport that normally requires a mountaintop to launch from. So this is the closest local launch site that we have, and it's also a spot with great cell reception. So I've got a signal with my cell phone, making a hotspot to jump on this interview, and I can actually work remotely up here. And then in the afternoons, when the weather turns on for paragliding, I can do a flight for a couple hours and come back up and get back to it.
Well, that is a view, my friend. Well, I got to tell you, I find myself to be not a very adventurous person, but I was telling the producers, your podcast inspires me to kind of get out of my comfort zone. When did you, or what was the inspiration behind your adventurous spirit? Were your parents like this? Were you always like this? Where did it come from?
Well, thanks so much for the kind words about the podcast. And that's exactly what we're trying to do, is to help inspire people to take that leap into something that may seem a little bit crazy and use it as a catalyst to push past our own perceived limits. And a lot of that for me personally, I think it was actually at the detriment to my parents' sanity. I'm an only child, and I would always try to get into crazy things, you know, of course, trying to get myself in trouble through little adventures I'd come up with. My parents weren't super adventurous. My dad did mountain bike, and that was one of the first things I ever got into. But we grew up in a pretty suburban area, about 45 minutes outside Atlanta, and we had this drain pipe in our backyard. And I distinctly remember viewing this drain pipe as a portal to another world. I always want to go through it and explore this, you know, drain pipe cave. And of course, my parents were terrified, thinking it was going to flash flood and I would drown through this drain pipe. Whereas, you know, now I love caving, which is, to me, looking back, I think that was kind of the inspiration for that. But they were not happy with a lot of the adventures.
Well, what I also love about you, Marshall, on Instagram and on the podcast is, it's not, you know, there are 1,000 people that do adventures and do stunts and stuff. But what I love about you is the fact that a lot of your adventures, not to sound too woo-woo, but there's a lesson to be learned in the adventure or because of the adventure. And a really great example of that, and it just happens to be great video too, is you had an encounter with a snake, a copperhead snake, that is one of the most popular videos on your site. But there was a lesson in that bite. Can you kind of tell that story?
For sure. Yeah. So everything that I like doing in the world of action adventure sports, to me, is a way to build a growth mindset and help myself to experience that growth mindset. And for anyone who's familiar with that term, that just means constantly trying to put ourselves in situations that get ourselves a little bit uncomfortable in ways that are a bit fearful, and being able to push through that fear to realize that we do have it within ourselves to be able to accomplish something we didn't think we could accomplish before. And that's why I'm a little bit maybe ADD when it comes to adventure sports. I like trying it all, because when I get to a certain point at a certain sport, I like to put myself back into that beginner seat where I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing with something else to have that growth mindset. So I always try and link lessons from the experience back to themes in life leadership and business leadership. And that's exactly what my company does as well. But to talk a little bit about the snake story. So being from Atlanta, Georgia, to get to spots like this, I have to drive 2 hours for most sports. But for mountain biking, it's relatively close, 20 minutes away to the closest trail system, Soap Creek in Metro Atlanta. And I was riding on Soap Creek one evening. I got off my bike, stepped a foot off the trail, and got bit by this huge copperhead. Of course, I didn't know it was a copperhead at the time. And I wear these sunglasses that have a camera in the side. They're actually made by Snapchat, called the Snapchat Spectacles, but I use them as a GoPro alternative for action adventure sports, because if I don't need a camera, well, at least I have sunglasses on. So as soon as that happened, I just started tapping the button, because I was like, I got to record this at the very least. And what we had to do was figure out what the snake was, because I wanted to know how much I'd need to care about what happened, or whether I could keep riding, honestly, because it didn't really hurt that much. So we had to get it out of this log safely without getting bit, realized it was the copperhead, and then was able to actually use my AirPods to call 911 as I'm riding back, and then talk to the Georgia Poison Control and all these different places, including the hospital, to figure out the closest place with anti-venom, and was, of course, filming the whole thing. So afterwards, I decided to make that into a video to showcase the theme of how to stay calm under pressure and not let the fear of an environment, unfortunately, which is what fear usually does, takes our ability to perform at a particular level away from us subconsciously, and usually kind of freezes us in that fear-based moment. So I wanted to use it as an example to teach how to stay calm under pressure and how to push through fear of the unknown. And it turned out into a really hilarious way to showcase that.
Yeah, and people can see that video on your Insta. We have about a minute and a half left in this segment, and I want to end it with this. If somebody's watching like myself who isn't adventurous, who has never paraglided or anything, what's your best advice to just literally, no pun intended, take that leap?
It's a great question. So psychologically, fear is fear. Fear one thing, fear another thing. The neurotransmitters are the same thing that's going off in your head. And there's a lot of fears that don't involve outdoor adventure sports. Fear of public speaking is actually #1 fear in the US. Fear of heights is #2. So you don't have to go jump off a cliff or do something crazy to help build that growth mindset. you can just talk in front of an audience or go up to a stranger and give them a compliment. And that is little micro ways to practice getting outside of our comfort zone. And that practice actually fuels our ability to then do more things that might be a little bit bigger, like paragliding on a tandem flight or learning how to do it yourself in something that you never imagined you would have done in 100 years. So baby steps to build up to that growth mindset. And it's a journey for a lifetime. It never stops.
Inside the Adventure is the podcast. Go subscribe right now. Marshall's sticking around. When we come back, he's not just helping people, he is also helping big businesses in a very adventurous way. You're going to find out when we come back. Back after this. Welcome back, everybody. Loving this conversation. We are back with a lover of adventure and the outdoors and the host of Inside the Adventure. And by the way, please go support that podcast. Give it a good rating. Marshall's joining us again. Marshall, it's so funny, before we go any farther, even my executive producer, who knows a thing or two about TV, thought you were standing in front of a green screen.
You know, just to prove it, I'm actually going to lift up my computer and give you a little bit of a tour. That's the launch site right there. You can actually drive to the top, and beautiful view on top of Bell Mountain.
That is beautiful. Well, you know, we were talking about lessons, and I want to ask you about your business too, but just to put a bow on that, we talked about success and we talked about what to learn, but I think you can also learn things from failure. So I got to ask, is there anything that does actually scare you that you've learned a lesson from? Is there something that you've done that has scared the bejeebies out of you?
Sure, yeah. So even someone who works professionally in helping people to push past that fear of failure, of course, I still experience that. And it's really interesting in the world of action adventure sports and in a lot of things. Experiencing fear is actually a really good thing. That means that we're really alert, awake, and attuned to what's going on. Most accidents actually happen when we feel really comfortable. That's that intermediate syndrome where you've started something, you've gotten to a certain point in that journey, you feel like you got it, and then that's when the accidents happen. So whenever I'm feeling fear, that's actually a really good thing, and I of course feel that all the time. But whenever I get complacent, that's actually the most dangerous place to be.
You, as I said before the break, you're not just helping individuals, you're helping companies as well. With your company, Vestigo, how are you doing that? I mean, you have Home Depot and Chick-fil-A's a couple things. What do you do with these corporations, Marshall?
Yeah, that's a great question. So here at Vestigo, we use the themes of outdoor adventure experiences to teach leadership development, innovation training, and be able to build the really powerful bonds that hold us together as teams and as companies. So traditionally, we've been taking teams through these outdoor adventure experiences that will be a really intro, easy way to be able to push through your own fear of the unknown and link a lot of themes like communication, adaptability, mindset towards the innovation and team development process. But we actually have been investing in the virtual reality space for the past couple of years. And now with COVID, we can't really get together in person. So we're actually building virtual reality adventure experiences where we're shipping VR headsets to every individual person at the company to come together for these virtual leadership development adventure experiences. And it's a great way to experience virtual reality for the first time. So that's our main focus right now, developing the VR content and being able to facilitate those experiences, introducing people to an awesome new technology, but still having the impact of the experiential learning piece.
Well, I love it, Vestigo, that you're doing that, because I was talking about entrepreneurs and Bethenny Frankel, and she was talking about how, as horrible as this year and this environment has been for so many businesses, there's also opportunities for recalibration, you know, for companies to really, it forces them to look at things different, and they may find actual opportunities even in a climate like we're experiencing right now with COVID. Are you finding that? Are you finding nuggets of opportunity even in this year?
Absolutely. I think all challenges, and this is part of what we teach in our curriculum, but challenge, as much as it can be an obstacle, is also an opportunity. And being able to reframe your mindset towards that obstacle to focus on the opportunities from it, oftentimes is the secret sauce for being successful versus using it as an excuse for failure. And for us as a small startup, we had to pivot in a week to get all of the virtual reality stuff that we had planned on doing long term, but was not ready yet, to be up and running right when everything started happening with COVID, which for a couple of weeks was really, really challenging, but now has actually put us in a much better place as a company, since we have this really powerful experiential way to virtually bring teammates together in this really effective type of environment that no other company really has the capability to do. A lot of the a lot of companies that are just using Zoom for team interaction are really desperately looking for ways to engage their employees, and this is a great solution. So because we were able to adapt and move a little bit faster than we normally would have, it's actually put us in a much greater position, a better position as a company than we were pre-COVID.
Well, Marshall, I have thoroughly enjoyed this. I hope you'll come back. And you've already inspired us. In that commercial break, the executive producer looked at me. I think we're going to do like an adventure week to try to get me out of my comfort zone. So I would invite you to come back and kind of check on our progress during that week, if you would.
Would love to. Hey, we can take you paragliding or rappelling and actually do a segment with you.
Settle down, Marshall. I'm not talking. That's against my contract, Marshall. There'll be none of those shenanigans. But no, I would love to. But sincerely, I've so enjoyed this. I could talk to you for an hour, and thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me as well, and it's been a pleasure to be on the show with you.
Thank you. You can follow Marshall on Instagram. Like I said, just search for Marshall Mosher and listen to his podcast, Inside the Adventure, wherever you get your podcast. It's good. Stepping out in all the things I don't want to do, I'll just ask Kendall to do. Still ahead, Kendall and or Leo. Kendall and her mom offer up their latest book recommendations. It's book club's time when we come back. Back after this. Oh, he was great. Welcome back to the show, everyone. Well, it is a great time of year to get lost in a good book. You always love the recommendations, so it's time once again for Kendall and her mom to share their latest book picks. Look.
She's my favorite library lady, but don't call her a librarian. It's my mom, Sid. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Kendall. How are you?
I'm good. I'm loving, by the way, the bookshelves. They look fantastic. Very fall.
Oh, you can see that? Okay.
I
just put a few things out.
Okay.
Favorite time of year.
It is our favorite, and this is actually really great books because you and I both like suspense.
Yes.
And you've got a good one that's a J book, but it's also really good for adults to read, right?
Absolutely. This book is considered a middle grade read, so 5th grade and up. But as I've said on previous shows, I have a few that I just think belong in any category of age. This is one of them. This is one of the first books I blogged. It's called The Charmed Children of Rookskill Castle. And as you know, not only do we like psychological thrillers and that kind of thing, but this is considered a spooky historical fantasy. So it's got some of our other historical fiction added into it. This is a book by Janet Fox, and it reminds me a bit of a Harry Potter-esque type of feel, or maybe Narnia. A little bit of fantasy, a little spookiness, a lot of children connections, things like that. So this starts when it's set in World War II. And the protagonist's name is Catherine. She goes by Kat. Her father's gone to war, World War II. And as many children were back then, she is sent from London to another area of the country to escape the bombings in London. She's sent to Rookskill Castle, which of course is an ancient, creepy, crumbling castle in the Scottish Highlands. So we have this great setting of the Scottish Highlands with all the mist and the fog and generally a damp and dreary look anyway. She believes that Lady Eleanor, who is this also very mysterious figure, she's the mistress of the castle, might be harboring a Nazi fugitive spy. So we go into that whole world where she's trying to figure out where all this is coming from. But then her classmates at the castle begin to vanish one by one. Kind of a must read.
Okay, so it's got the war, it's got for young adults, it's for adults. That's a good one. Okay, so mine, because I get to chip in this time.
Yes.
We both love the author Ruth Ware. She's one of our favorites. She's one of my favorites for sure. She does a lot of suspense books. So if you look her up, you can see all of them. But the one I love the most is called In a Dark, Dark Wood. Essentially, moral of the story here is that there's a girl. She is around her upper 20s, and she gets invited to a bachelorette party by her former best friend who was like Miss Popular, and she's a little confused because they haven't spoken in years, and she's like, why is she inviting me? She finds out it's a really small bachelorette party, so like most of us, says yes because she feels awkward not going then. Still confused why she's there. Shows up, and it's in this really remote, beautiful house in the middle of the woods though. So there's glass on all the sides, and you get kind of that eerie feeling. There's a shotgun that's hanging on the wall. A lot of the people invited have kind of weird quirks to them and interesting stories. So she's already got this setting of like high anxiety, right? Because you feel for the protagonist who's there in this group of people she doesn't really understand with this kind of mean girl, old best friend. Well, someone comes in to the house in the middle of the night, and all I can say is this: it's an uninvited guest. Someone doesn't make it out of the house alive after the middle of the night, and the protagonist, who we love, ends up in a hospital with a major head injury, and all she knows is someone is dead. It's someone that she cares about, and she can't remember how it happened, and the police think she did it.
Dun, dun, dun.
So good. Okay, so Ruth Ware, we love her. We've got so many books to talk about, but we have one more, and we only have like 30 seconds to talk about it, but it's for anyone.
Oh my goodness. All right. Minnesota author, which we always like to highlight. This man's name is Adrian Lee. He grew up in Minnesota, still lives here. He is the founder of the International Paranormal Society. Very legit man. He has a team of cracker investigators and all the latest things to use to investigate things. It's based on 13 different sites in the state of Minnesota. Absolutely fascinating. And I have picked up many, many books of this genre and put them down after about 3 paragraphs because just were like, meh, not believable, poor spelling, not researched. This man does his research. It is chock full of just very intriguing historical facts about the places he goes to and investigates. So it's real time, but it's backed up by historical information, true information.
And this is nonfiction, all in Minnesota, right?
Yes, the Chase Hotel in Walker, Minneapolis City Hall, Fort Snelling, St. James Hotel. And some of these, I've heard some of these stories already from people that work there, so this man is legit, and I really enjoyed it. It's called Mysterious Minnesota.
Mysterious Minnesota. I love it. Okay, our 3 recommendations for October. Read them, let us know what you think. And by the way, we have a lot more, so you just have to go to the Facebook page to find out what else we have when it comes to our October reads. Thanks, Mom.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mom. Queen of the reads right there. Kendall joins me now. So you mentioned Facebook. What exactly is on our Facebook page?
So we did something different this month because my mom and I both love thrillers. So we actually have 4 other things that we're recommending. 2 other adult books, 1 other kids book or junior book from a Minnesota author, and then 1 that's actually a video of a famous author doing a reading. So if you would like to just listen to something, they're all on our Facebook page, or they will be after the show.
Absolutely. And this is proof. We love to get your comments. The continuation of the book club was because we got such a great response from you. Kendall got so many emails, so keep them coming if you want to see more book club selections from the queen of the reads right there. We're going to take a break. We'll be back right after this.
Let's make it a good day. We do it our own way. Let's make it a good day.
Let's make it a good day, shall we? Boy, I am trying. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Getting a lot of good comments on your book club selections. Our guest today, Marshall. So keep them coming. Jeff is already formulating ideas for Adventure Week. Ways to torture me, so that's going to be fun. We're going to do, but see, we can't torture you because you're Sporty Spice. You like to do
I'm excited. I'm into it.
Well, I know, but you won't be scared. I want like total fear in your face. But
it'll happen.
Okay. You can stay connected with us on social media. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And don't forget, like I said, a lot of your ideas and suggestions become segments on our show. We're going to continue our show today when we come back after this.
Jason.
Oh, I'm watching Knots Landing. I'm sorry. I was watching Knots Landing. I'll do that a little bit later. Welcome back, everybody. I'm very excited. Tina, we found out her name. Let me know a secret YouTube channel where all the Knots Landings are. All 344 episodes. Hey, before we go today, I want to say congratulations to our good friend, a host of Twin Cities Live, Elizabeth Reese and her husband, gave birth to a little boy with the cute Heathcliff Carl with a K. Not like former Jason Show producer, Carl with a C. But yes, Carl with a K. Heathcliff Carl. Isn't it adorable?
It is cute. He looks really cute too.
I know. He looks, I mean, and Elizabeth is joking, like the baby's like 3 weeks late. I said, the baby's old, like the baby has like crow's feet now. Baby didn't want to come out. It was like, no, 2020 is really bad. I'm going to stay right here until 2021. But no, congratulations to Elizabeth. We're going to miss you, and she's literally going to be back next year on the radio station and stuff. Tomorrow on the show, Gerard from Soul Bowl will be back with us, talking about his newest restaurant. And let's just say, it has something to do with chicken wings. Yes. And you know how much I hate chicken wings. That's going to do it for us today. If you're watching and you're a kid or anyone being bullied, you go out there and be yourself, because nobody can tell you you're doing it wrong. Have a good day, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.